Today is going to be the day that we're going to throw light back to you using this thing. Welcome back. We are joined today by the multi-talented Gabby, who's going to help us with our shady problem. Yesterday, we went over 5 different angles that we could shoot from using window light. Quickly, those were front lighting, backlighting, side lighting, short and broad lighting. In almost all of those shots, we had to deal with some pretty deep shadows. But what if we didn't want so much drama and darkness? What if we wanted even, non-dramatic, pretty lighting? What should we do? What should we spend our money on? The first thing you should buy is a reflector. It is the most underrated yet most used tool in a photographer's arsenal. What does it do? It reflects light. Photography is a lot more about understanding light than understanding gear. The reflector is the simplest tool we can use to help us shape light and brighten up those dark areas without breaking the bank. Unfortunately, there is no fix the shadows button on the camera. But we can fix the shadows with the reflector.
I'm here to rescue you from your dim situation.
I don't need rescuing or saving. I've given you enough information to figure out what we're going to do next. Because by now, you should have somehow realized what you got to do. We have to use this reflector to fix the shadows in all 5 lighting angles. Backlighting. Backlighting was our most extreme example. Our model became so lost in the shadows, she was practically a silhouette. Let's see how big of a difference a reflector can make. By moving the reflector close to the face, we can bounce back some of that powerful light coming through the window to create beautiful and almost even lighting. We can bounce it back in underexposed situations, being able to see out the window and see the model at the same time. When overexposed, it still has an effect. Decently exposed, it's practically another light. You can move it side to side to create that dramatic side lighting feel while being backlit. Also, as a bonus, since the reflector is so close to the face, it creates a catch light, which is not usually available in these backlight scenarios. Side lighting. Direct side lighting from a 90-degree angle gave us the biggest contrast from the left to the right side of the face.
Do you need me to save you?
Maybe. We can use the reflector here to balance it out and make it a lot less dramatic, more symmetrical. It won't be perfectly even because the reflector will never be as powerful as the sun. It doesn't actually create light, it simply redirects it. It's never as strong as the main light, just a diffused reflection of it. Think of it as a really dirty mirror. Photolingo terminology. So, since we're using it to fill the shadows, we can call it a fill light. The window light, the main light source, is referred to as the key light. 45 broad lighting. Broad lighting is very similar to side lighting, but not as much contrast. We can see the reflector is really effective here, balancing the light out a lot more. Since the angle is not exactly symmetrical, it's less noticeable if the light is perfectly even or not. So broad lighting is a bit easier to work with than direct side lighting. A lot more forgiving because we don't have to worry about perfect symmetry. 135 or short lighting. My favorite lighting. From this angle, we can see that we're highlighting the extreme sides of the face, yet leaving the shadows in the middle, giving it an almost film noir look. Very dramatic again. We are filling in shadows, but not all the shadows, just here at the edge of the hair and neck area. Front lighting. The least exciting lighting option, front lighting, but the easiest to work with. Will the reflector help us out in this already brightly lit scenario?
Save you now?
Maybe.
The lighting is already perfectly even, so there are very little shadows giving us trouble. But it still has an effect. We can use it as a rim light if we choose to. You can see it on the side of the face and body. Also, the texture in the clothing comes out more because there's an extra light bouncing on it. My favorite thing to do with this situation is to actually use the reflector as a backdrop. If you zoom in closely enough to not see the edges of the reflector, it makes for some pretty neat shots. Check it out. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. In the end, it's up to you how you use the reflector. You can either even the lighting, making them more balanced, or be more subtle and artsy in your reflections. By changing the angle, we change the shadows, and it gives us some control over the contrast we're creating. Let's check out some shots that I barely use the reflector for because I personally embrace contrast.
Anywho, I hope today's Reflector episode shed a new light on what to do about those pesky shadows. If this helped you out, slap that like button. Make sure to subscribe because next time we're going to address what to do if we don't have a reflector. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Do I need to save you again?
I said maybe. When the situation gets dark again, I know that you're going to be the one that saves me.